Hey guys, Pitmaster here. I'm here with Vato, and we're going to talk about the UFC, Yair Rodriguez versus the Korean Zombie. What? Yeah, and we're going to do a Sensei UFC where we're going to break it down for you so you can learn the techniques. Bang!
Also, it was a
25-year anniversary fight.
In Denver.
It was in Denver. It was great.
It was a great fight night.
Yeah, where would martial arts be without the UFC? Let me tell you, they'd still be believing a lot of this shit works. Wrist locks and shit like this. The UFC has changed martial arts as much or more than Bruce Lee did. I think Bruce Lee and the UFC have changed the martial arts and made it real. I mean, you can't even say, well, this will work. Well, if that would work, they would be doing it in the UFC. They don't not do it because it's deadly. They can't gouge the eyes and bite, but you could do this to the body, or you could do like wrist locks. They don't. There's a reason they don't. It's because they do not work. So the UFC has shown people what works and what doesn't. And it's great. Anyway, so let's talk about Sensei UFC. Let's talk about the Yair Rodriguez versus Korean Zombie. That was the best fight of the year. I guarantee you, without a doubt, it will be the best fight of the year. And I guarantee you, it'll be
the knockout of the
year? I think the best finish of
the year.
At least the year, maybe even 5 years or 10. I mean, 1 second left with a crazy elbow where he was coming in low and he brought his elbow up. It was just so bizarre because everybody, including the announcer, when they saw it, they thought it was a headbutt. So I was surprised seeing Yair celebrating because I thought, why is he celebrating? He's not gonna win. I mean, it might be a no contest, but that was a headbutt. But it wasn't. When they showed us, somebody came up, his elbow, he went down, and his elbow came up just like that. It was beautiful timing, beautiful.
Oh.
And so, I heard somebody say, yeah, that lucky elbow. That was not luck. That was skill, timing, unbelievable. So, all right, I'm gonna start.
I feel bad for Zombie, man, because he was winning that fight. He didn't have to do that. But you know, he's a warrior.
He's a warrior. He was going
for a finish.
Towards the end, there was 1 second left. He was winning 3 rounds to 2. But that was the end of the fight. He was flooring. Why didn't he just stay back?
Because
that's not the way he is.
Let's go.
Sano versus Pena fight. Number 1, he did not check that inside leg kick.
I know. Yeah,
he was getting hammered with that inside leg check. When you're getting kicked with an inside leg check, let's just back up a little here. If someone's kicking it, I think it was southpaw against regular, right? And someone's smashing your leg, it's gonna hurt. The best defense for that is to turn your leg in, just like Chris Weidman did against Anderson Silva. You just turn your leg in. And even if you can't time it, keep that leg turned in a little and combination from here. If he hits your knee one time, he's not gonna kick as hard anymore. That's all he has to do is kick your knee. Shit. But if he's getting meat every time, then he's just gonna keep going and going with that technique.
Do you think that they know, but they just don't do it? Or, I mean, what goes through your mind when you see that?
Okay,
I think that dude, he has to know, right?
He must know. And let me tell you, I know for a fact from being in there that a lot of times people are gonna kick your leg and your timing is just off. You're not gonna check it. Just like you don't block every punch, right? You don't defend every takedown. But when someone's doing it over and over and over, right? If you don't know it, so you don't, pick it up in timing, keep your leg out that way a little bit, just a little bit while you're punching, because that is better defense than just keeping it straight and getting it hammered on the muscle.
Who knows what effect that really had?
Who knows?
But yeah, great fight.
Yeah, that was. Okay, so here was another thing that I saw. he was against the cage, okay? Pena was, and he was just content to stay there, right? Trezano was coming in for a takedown, but he just stayed against the cage. He was like content to be there. It's easier for them to take you down or control you when your back's against the cage. There's no reason for your back to be against the cage unless there's a reason for your back to be against the cage. In other words, if you have a strategy, which you might, some fighters do. There are strategies that you can do with your back against the cage. Pena didn't have a strategy, but for some reason, he was getting taken down, and he was right there, and he couldn't move, because at first it was here, and they were engaging for a sec. He could have very easily just got out. He wanted to be in the middle of the cage, not up against it. So you want to be in the middle of the mat, right? So when he's this far away, he was like content to stay with his back against the cage. I don't know why. It didn't make any sense to me, but he was. And Trezano took advantage of that. So my rule or my lesson is, unless you have a plan for against the cage, which is very seldom, because 9 out of 10 times you want to be pushing your guy against the cage, not being pushed against the cage. You have less options when your back's to the cage as you do if you're pushing someone against the cage. So unless you have a plan, don't be part of your opponent's plan. All right? That's not a good thing to do. You just get away. Every time there's actually markers on the mat where you can tell, oh shit, the cage is coming up. So you just turn away. Either go one way or another, but get away from the cage. Okay? So that was the first lesson. Okay, the Pennington. Durandamy. That was a good fight. But the lesson that I'm going to show you guys or teach you is distance is king. You realize every time that Pennington got in, she was in a better position. She wasn't successful in most of her takedowns. I don't even know how many she got. I don't. She might not have got any. But
she got to get clinched up.
She was in better position. When the clinch got far away, what's her name was doing better?
Durandamy.
Jermaine
Durandamy.
She was in a better position when there was more distance. And she was able to control the distance, mainly with a long jab and right hand. Over and over. That girl's face, Pennington's face was smashed up. Her nose was like broken.
She didn't check that many leg kicks either. She got
leg kicked.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
So the distance, it proves it. If you're the taller fighter, you want to keep that distance because you're at a serious advantage. If you're the shorter opponent, like Mike Tyson always was, he used his head movement, his aggressiveness, he got inside, and then he was at an advantage. Okay? It doesn't really matter if you're taller or smaller, right? Who has the advantage? The one that is able to exert their strategy or their distance is going to win. Just like Mike Tyson, when he got inside, he won. All right? When Durandamy, when she kept her distance, she was winning. All right? Mighty Mouse, when he gets inside, he's winning. So if you're the shorter opponent, you want to be in close. And when you're the taller opponent, you want more distance. I mean, it's simple. It's not really brain surgery. So distance is king. Distance is king, guys. So you decide when you're sparring or you're training or in a fight, you might be fighting someone taller, you want to get inside. And if you're the taller person, you want to keep the distance, all right? So remember that. Talk about overall. Let's say Arturo Gatti Mickey Ward. Not two of the best boxers of all times, but action-packed non-stop, right? I mean, just non-stop action. Leonard Garcia. He might have been one of the best UFC fighters, but say he wasn't. Even if he wasn't, people love to watch him fight, right? I mean, Cowboy Cerrone, people love to watch him fight. Now, I watched a fight with Thiago versus Dariush. Really good fighters, but almost the entire fight was grappling exchanges. which was really good. And for us that love MMA, it was an exciting fight.
Scrambles.
A lot of scrambles. I mean, it was a good, exciting grappling match.
It wasn't a boring grappling match. It was transitions and just good.
They were moving. But now you watch that, right? If you had that going on at one time, and then you saw two guys that weren't even that great, like Channel 34 in LA, like the Mexican channel, you watch a Mexican boxing match. Two very, very average fighters, but they're slugging it out. If you had 100 people and they could watch either at the same time, I would guarantee you at least 85 out of 100 are going to watch two guys slugging in a boxing match as average fighters, just not even that good, as opposed to watching two high-level, UFC, high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts grappling. They would rather watch that. I don't know why, but it is. It is. You can't deny it. So people don't hate grappling, and we appreciate grappling. It's an intricate part of the UFC, or it's an intricate part of MMA. It's an intricate part of Hawaiian Kempo or a street fight. Grappling is just as important as striking. But when it comes to crowds, they want to see slugging. I'll give you this. You watch two guys playing hockey, or a team playing hockey. Now the fight breaks out. Everybody gets more. Why are they more excited during the fight than the game? You watch two guys, a guy charging the mound in baseball. That's more exciting than the whole game.
Go crazy.
You watch two basketball players. People watch the game like, da, da, da. Then all of a sudden a fight breaks out. They're like, yeah.
Even the fans start getting fighting.
People love to see two people throwing down. I don't know why that is, but it is. Great fight. Yair Rodriguez against the Korean Zombie was probably the fight of the fucking year, and that finish was the finish of the century.
Yeah.
Century or decade? I don't know, century, maybe decade. Such a beautiful to watch, and their class and their respect for each other. They ended up in the ER hanging out together, taking pictures together. It was like the perfect example of two of the world's greatest warriors. I mean, it was unbelievable. The semi-main, Cowboy Cerrone get that beautiful armbar on Mike Perry. That was so beautiful to watch. And then when they brought his newborn baby into the cage and he carried him around the cage, I don't think there was a dry eye in the house. It was like,
it's cool.
It was just so cool to see this martial arts. For you guys out there, most of you are martial artists. It is the best sport and the best activity that anyone could do ever.
That's what people need to see more.
Yeah.
Less dolly throwing and McGregor talking, and more Bushido and respect.
Yeah, more of Cowboy Cerrone and the Korean Zombie and Yair and less of guys running their fucking mouth. That's getting old, guys. All right. Anyway, thanks for coming. Please subscribe. Make sure you share this. And if you got any comments, let me know. Thanks.